Hi, I'm Michael Adamedes. I'm a therapist and personal development facilitator. I've been working in this field for more than 32 years. And how I first started was back in 1980. My wife of 7 years came to me and said, I've fallen in love with someone else. And at that time, it was devastating. I just wanted to die. I was depressed. Life had no meaning. And yet it didn't make sense to me, because about a week before that, I had contemplated leaving her. And here I am feeling I want to die. And I know that she had made the right decision and our relationship wasn't going anywhere and it had really come to an end. And yet I felt so terrible and so bad. And it went on for about 6 months, and a friend of mine said, look, I've heard about this amazing therapist. She works in Sydney. Why don't you go down and do a weekend workshop? At that time I was living in a town in northern New South Wales called Lismore, and in September of 1981 I went to Sydney and I attended this workshop, and it was revelatory. And at that time we did breath work, emotional release work, we looked at family patterns and the way my mother and father affects my personality, and I started to really see how my psychology had created this experience. And then after that weekend workshop, a couple of months later, I went back and did another one, and again it was revelatory and there were more breakthroughs and understanding. And the person who was taking the course said, if you really want to go further, you should do a longer term experience. And so I came back initially for a 3-month trial to just work on it and do an extended workshop for myself, and that was beginning of February 2008. And after doing 3 months there, I realised I had a natural affinity in this area, and I just really loved doing the work. I'd been formally trained as an economist. I also have a degree in education, and I thought, well, I'll give this a go. And after 2 years of working with this person, Aurora Carisbrook, I had taken over the business and set up my own therapy centre, and at that time we had 14 therapists and 2 full-time receptionists, and we were seeing hundreds of people a month. And I continued in that business for more than 12 years, and I'd probably seen, I don't know, several thousand people by then, and trained hundreds of therapists. And I had just continued my journey with doing personal development. I'd probably spent more than $200,000 in the first 20 years on self-therapy and education, and attended basically every personal development course. And anyone who came to Australia and had gone to the United States and England and Russia and Hong Kong and New Zealand, and just pursued this study. At the same time, as I had that marriage breakup, I had also been introduced to a group called Satchinanda Ashram, who are a bunch of monks from India, and they were learning yoga and meditation, and I became part of that organisation for a period of time and learned yoga and meditation. And so now, 32 years later, more than 10,000 people, I've kind of got a bit of an understanding as to how the personality works, what creates behaviours, and why things work in people's lives and why things don't work in people's lives. And fundamentally, it boils down to 3 underlying issues: a feeling of unworthiness, unsafe or alone, either one or a combination of those issues, and also to master the underlying life challenges of love and power. And love is the ability to surrender, it's a feminine quality, and power is the ability to resist. And so as human beings, we have to master love in our life and power in our life, overcome the limitations of our personality, the limitations of our inheritance, our childhood, the relationships with our mother and father, the ancestral genetic things that have come through. And in doing that, we can empower ourselves. So it may sound a little bit full on, but to me, the journey is a journey of self-exploration. How do I make my life work? How do I make my relationships work, my career work, my finances work? How do I get my health to work? And where do I find meaning in my life? And these are the things I support people with and coach them. So I hope I may see you one day, come for therapy or to one of my courses. So thank you for listening.